Hello? Yeah, it's good. Wow, house packed. I love it. Thank you. My name is Dahye Choi, and I come from South Korea, a pianist. And it's really nice to meet you all tonight. Thank you for joining me this evening. When I heard about this invitation and about this lecture series, I was like, yes, China, wait for me. I love China. I love people. I love the vibe, the energy, and I love this freshness. I don't know, I just love everything about China. Then I heard that it's going to be the presentation in front of scientists. Scientists, right? And I was like, scientists. I was so nervous at the time because I learned piano at the age of 5. And ever since then, I was surrounded by musicians all the time. All of my friends are musicians. And whenever I talk about music, it was for the musicians. So it was kind of a challenge and excitement, also quite nervous moment for me. So please, I hope you enjoy my lecture because it will have a lot of videos, music videos, and photos and slideshows to have fun with you together. So as you see in the screen, the title of my lecture is Music Education in Korea, from Reverence to Industry. It is from Chongqing to Dahye. Am I doing right? Thank you. I just learned it. I just learned it from lunch. So it means Korean music started as reverence, some kind of admiration, like religious admiration for Western culture. And slowly it developed into Dahye, industry, the money-making business. So I'm going to talk about how we South Korean, learn music, teach music, and more than that, I'm going to talk about how we began teaching and learning music in such a fervent way as it is now. Let's start.
Hi, my name is Ye Kwan Sunwoo. I'm 21 years old and I come from South Korea.
My name is Dasol Kim, 21 years old. I'm Korean.
My name is Kyoyan Kim. I am 24 years old and I'm from Seoul, Korea.
My name is Jong Hae Park. I'm 19 years old and I'm from South Korea.
Je m'appelle Chang-Han Lim. Je suis baryton coréen. J'ai 29 ans.
First prize, Queen Elizabeth International Grand Prize, Hong Haran.
Mai 2011. Hong Hae-ran remporte le concours Reine-Elisabeth, catégorie chant. Elle est soprano et elle est coréenne. C'est la première victoire coréenne dans l'histoire du concours. C'est un succès personnel, bien sûr. Mais ce n'est peut-être pas aussi simple. Son pays, la Corée du Sud, est de plus en plus présent dans les compétitions musicales internationales. Ces 3 dernières années, les Sud-Coréens représentaient un quart des participants au premier tour du Reine-Elisabeth. En 2010, près de la moitié des finalistes venaient de Corée du Sud.
Well, South Korea is a very small country. Our population is 50 million. Japan has 120 million and China 1.3 billion. So our population is less than half of Japanese population and a little more than 3% of Chinese. So considering the number, the ratio of success in international competition, music competition, is phenomenal. And maybe that was why Belgian national TV station made this documentary to figure out why Koreans are so successful in music competition. And yes, I wanted to know. So I had my research and I wanted to share the result today. These are some weird words. Do you feel familiar to these words? Exposition, development, and recapitulation. Does this sound familiar to you at all? Well, do you know the term sonata? Piano sonata, violin sonata, yes? Yeah, sonata is one of the most commonly used musical form that composers make their music. And these three words, except this explosion, I just made it up. But exposition, development, and recap are the three parts of the sonata form. And because I'm a musician, and if I have to tell a story, then I thought it'll be best to convey the message on the musical form. So I'm going to tell you the story on the basis of sonata form. Sonata form, if you're not familiar, then let me introduce to the form. This is the chart of hero's journey. Have you heard about this? Hero's journey. This is a concept suggested by Joseph Campbell, and it is a description of process of hero's journey in epic drama. Like really dramatic, long story. Like hero is searching for something and he goes on his journey and he's almost get killed and he fights, he struggles, but then he survives and he returns home. That's the basic process of sonata form either. Let's take a closer look. That little boy is our hero. Hero looks very cute with his little backpack and little paper in his hand. And as he goes on his journey, he meets his mentor, his teacher. Or we can say in the story, this is like the story Lord of the Rings. Have you seen the movie, Lord of the Rings? No? Oh, well, it's one of the most famous Hollywood films back in the 2000s. So this hero can be, in the story there's a man, and he goes on his journey, and he meets his woman. Or we can say in sonata form, there's a first theme, and as the music goes on, it meets its second theme. And what do? They go on a journey, and they go into the unknown area of the music, and they struggle, they fight, they suffer together. They're almost like getting killed, and the death and rebirth. They're totally reborn after this hell, and if they survive, then they come back to their hometown. That's the storytelling process of a hero's journey. And sonata form is the same. This is chart for the sonata form. Exposition, that has main theme and secondary theme. Development, elaboration of themes. So we have first and second theme, and they mingle up and transformed and modulated. And after the climax, they come back to the original theme. Or we can say in this photo, can you recognize? What is this? What are they? Well, we say in Korea, we call them Oreo cookie. Do you know that? Do they have in China? Do you have it in China? Oreo cookie? No? Yes, I'm sure you have. So this cacao cookie, do you see it? The cacao cookie is our hero, first theme. But what about the second theme? The pink, beautiful, pretty, sweet, soft. That's his woman, his girlfriend. That's our second theme. Maybe strawberry flavored, right? But what they're doing, where they're going now, into the big mess. They're broken into pieces. Like it's just a big mess, explosion of moments. And maybe they're fighting. But then it returns to the original theme. But here we can see the difference. The original theme, the main theme, the first theme stays the same, cacao, right? But what happens to the pink one? Always the second theme changes. So the second strawberry theme became somehow the hybrid of cacao and strawberry. So that's the format that I want you to know because it's the same as the history of music education in Korea. So we'll talk about the story beginning at 1950s, and we'll go into the future up to the present time, 2018, and beyond. Let's start with 1950. You know, we were under Japanese occupation since 1910. For 30 years, we suffered, suppressed, and then we got liberated. But soon after that, we had to face the Korean War, where we were killing each other, killing brothers, killing friends, and my friend was killing me, trying to kill me. It was just a tragedy. So we'll start from there. This is a picture taken from around 1920, 1930. I just want to show you how poor we were. So the title of the exposition is Piano Melodies in the Battlefield. So as I just said, you know we were in the battlefield because it was Korean War. We were in the battle. But what about piano melodies? I want to show you what the piano melodies were.
돌이키고 싶지 않은 끔찍한 전쟁.
다 이제 방공으로 들어가야 되는데 저는 그게 너무 재밌어서 뭔가 떨어지니까 재밌어가지고 몰래 말 위에 앉아서 구경하던 생각. 그러면 이제 혼났죠, 어머니한테.
기관총을 쏘면은요, 위에서 쏘면은 보보보보보보보 굉장히 낮은. 그리고 또 아래서 쏘는 거는 따따따따따따 벌써 그 음이 다 달라요.
누가 상상이나 했을까요? 전쟁의 포화 속에서 열렸던 어린이 음악 콩쿠르.
피난 시절에 이화여고의 영도에 가교사가 있었어요. 천막으로 된. 거기에서 제1회 콩쿠르 열렸죠. 전쟁 속에서 그 콩쿠르를 했다는 거에 대한 저는 그 무한한 감동을 느껴요.
그때 그 꼬마들은 어떻게 자랐을까요?
I just feel tremendous respect for our first generation musicians in Korea. We always see Syrian refugees on TV every day, and we witness how terrible the war is, what kind of atrocity they're going through. So can you imagine that the Syrian kids, they're learning violin and piano in the refugee camp, under the tent? They had temporary school under the tent in the refugee camp. And they didn't just learn math and science, they learned piano and violin. Can you imagine doing that, Syrian kids? It's just an amazing story to me, so I want to share with you. So they learned piano, violin, and they even had the children's concert, and they held their first ever, our nation's first competition, music competition, in the middle of war. So I get to wonder, what is so special about music? What did music do to us? And why music? Why not something else? Why did I pick music? That's my question. In order to find that, I have to tell you about the two keywords describing our Koreans' emotions. There is Han emotion, and there is a Hung emotion. Does anyone know about this? I see some students are smiling. Yeah, this Han emotion is sadness. It's some kind of emotion, pain, agony in your chest. So it's so hurt, it's so painful. You want to take it out. You want to sing it out. You want to spit it out and speak it out, but you can't. You can't because you lost your voice. You lost your voice. You can't take it out. So it happens when you didn't do any wrong, but circumstances, your world, your surrounding, your situation is so suffering. So you can't change one thing about this situation, and you can just stay and you have to endure with the pain. This is the great example of Han emotion of Korean people, I think. Can you imagine? Can you guess who they are? These two gentlemen were brothers, and they got separated during the Korean War. They couldn't see each other for 50 plus years. And 2002, they could meet each other after 50 years for 5 days. In a meeting sponsored by government, so they could see each other for the first time for 5 days. And after those 5 days, they had to say goodbye again without knowing when they're going to meet each other again. So that's kind of circumstances that we can speak it up. We can't have our voice, opinions. It's just that. It just happened that way. We have to put up with the pain. That's Han. This is Hung. Totally different, contrary, the opposite emotion kind. So they're dancing, they're just moving. Look at the lady, she's almost flying. She's flying. She's jumping like an Air Jordan. So this kind of emotion makes you move. Not just move, fast. Faster than anybody. Are you familiar with the 빨리빨리 culture in Korea? 빨리빨리 means quick, quick, fast, fast. We have 빨리빨리 culture in Korea, so we do everything in fastest tempo. Delivery, ding, dong, it just comes to your doorstep like. And we build buildings just like, so we kind of have this drive because of the Han emotion. It stayed the same here, but because you want to express, you want to do something. So if you find an outlet, then you go like that or like this. Do you know this guy? Sai, yes, yeah, Sai. He is a very weird guy, even to Korean. His songs are exciting. It's very fast. He's a very funny guy. But I think his song has definitely the emotion of a Hung. Well, by the way, he's the husband of my friend. And he looks very funny and very weird, right? But in the private setting with dinner, he's such a gentleman. His wife is a cellist too. So that's Han and Hung. Let's find out in detail. First theme, our cacao cookie is Han, suppressed emotion. Because we were going through such inhuman poverty and suffering and tragedy, we had this emotion and voice silenced because we were occupied by Japan. We couldn't speak. And then after the Japan, we were killing each other. We couldn't trust anyone because first, I thought he's my friend, then he turned my enemy. We see, oh, there's a Korean guy, or maybe not. Korean guy, oh, maybe he's not my enemy. We couldn't trust anyone. We couldn't trust our own strength as a nation. So only one thing we could trust was myself. individual. Well, I can change anything about the surroundings, but I can change myself. So that's the drive that we get to really work hard. So I wrote down that individual salvation through education. That's a picture of Korean War. Music class right after the war. Orphan house in the American soldiers' base. And this is people were fleeing their houses and moved down to Busan area, the southern part of the peninsula, and built a tent for temporary school, and they had their music competition for children. How about the hymn, spiritual exaltation? Well, this is, endeavor and explosive energy to drive to the climax. Not just drive to the climax, it should be in fast tempo. And there's a special story about a pianist, Tony Han. Do you remember the last scene of the Korea documentary Piano? There were 3 people at the last scene, and the gentleman sitting in the middle, his name is Tony Han. His story is so special. He was born in northern side of Seoul, northern side of Korea, and he went to church, Christian church. And his church pastor, American pastor, was his first music teacher. And then, because he didn't have a piano, he had to practice. So he went to Army base, US Army base every day to practice on the piano. There, American soldier found a little boy is playing and he sounds okay. So he suggested, like, why don't you have a concert for us? So he did it. And after the concert, the top ranking soldier of American Army base, General Anderson, he found him very talented. He was amazed. So he promised that he will take this little boy to America and send him to Juilliard School. 10 years later, he became the first prize winner of Leventritt competition in New York. So his story is so special, it inspired so many kids in Korea. Like, they were thinking, wow, Tony Han, so cool. Maybe I can do that. Because if he could do that, maybe I can do that. I want to become like that. Every music major students in Korea, they were like, wow, and became such an ambitious story for the hearts of the little ones. And I just mentioned the Christian church pastor was his first music teacher. So Christian missionary, there were many American Christian missionaries in Korea, and they were building modern schools and giving us piano lessons. And with that vision, in 1953, right after the war, right after the Korean War, we built our first art high school. Let's take a closer look at the Tony Han's story. picture of Seoul Art High School. I was there. Maybe I'm that girl. I was there in 90s, and I was wearing the exactly same school uniform, and it was prime time in my life. It was such a nice school, educate little girls, music, and they just taught me how to love music. So now we are moving on to the 70s. Now, we're not poor anymore. Well, we're not rich yet, but at least we could do something. Because Korea had such enormous economic growth. Well, it may be the same with any developing country, but the chart goes spiking up the line. Through 70s, 80s, and 90s, the growth rate was so huge, people call it the miracle of Han River. And with this growth, there was a huge influence on music. Because what would you do if you have money and you have kids? You would send them in a good school, right? Even though I was poor, I would send my kids to better school and I will make them live a better life. And music was the outlet for Korean people. So classical musicians were coveted as almost a cultural elitism because they look so good, like Prince and Princess, piano, violin, how cool it is. And also there are 3 factors to give the boost to the music education in Korea. Number 1, equal education on girls. Korea was such a Confucius country, so we didn't give equal chance to girls for education. But because the Christian church, they brought up this idea like man, woman, equal. They have equal right to learn. So Korea was accepting that idea, and if you have a child and it's a daughter, then what would you do? Oh, maybe music. Because it looks so good. Girls playing the piano, playing the violin. It's good. Boys has to go to the medical school or law school, but girls, maybe musicians, right? So there was a huge boost to the girls' education in music. Number 2, free international travel. Well, back in the 1970s, we couldn't travel outside Korea without government permission. But during the 80s, it was freed. So if we have money, we could fly out of Korea. So that way, if you're middle-class parents and you have a daughter who studies music, you will send her to America, to Juilliard School, to Berlin, to Vienna to study. So there was a huge boom in sending their kids to abroad. And number 3 was easier access. Do you agree? Well, if you're studying in science or law or economics, language is really important if you're in America. But if you're learning piano, you have to speak some words, but you can play and you can listen and you can learn, right? So it's relatively speaking easier to get the education. So those 3 factors gave such a huge boost to the music education and to the trend to send their kids to America. And what do they do after America, Vienna, and Berlin? What do? They return home. And they teach more students. So more students, more kids going abroad, more teachers, more pianists, violinists, they come back. Better teacher, better student, and repeat it, the cycle. Better teacher, better student, they go abroad. They become even better student, better teacher, better student. It gave etc., it goes on, and it gave the ultimately fundamental growth in music education in Korea. So I'm showing just brief pictures of Korea. This is a picture of this guy. His name is Jung Myung-hoon, pianist/composer, conductor. This is the picture that he just returned from Russia after winning silver medal at the Tchaikovsky competition in 1974. And he was hailed as national hero. He was even in a car parade in the city center. And he was greeted by our president, and he was on TV because he just won music competition. And this is his sister. This is music family. His sister, cellist Jung Myung-hwa, she also won Genève music competition first prize. And this is his second sister, Jung Kyung-hwa, violinist. She also won first prize in the Leventritt competition. So they formed a piano trio, and they went on a tour around the world. This is the headmaster principal of Seoul Art High School. He's the founder. He's the leader who had the vision to teach our children early possible in music, and he founded this Seoul Art High School. A decade ago, he passed away, and now we have his statue in the school to commemorate his legacy. So out of this school, there are so many good musicians. Like these three musicians, they're all winning in the 1980s. They were winning all the competitions and came back and teach more children. Now, move on to 90s. Now, things are serious. So far, we looked about the private sector. People send their kids because they want them to look good. And then the competition was getting high and the demand was getting high. So private sector got just big, right? Like this, boom. The balance was seriously inclined because government didn't do anything. We didn't have a music concert hall. Well, in Seoul, we had only one concert hall. No opera house, no ballet house, no conservatory, nothing. Just all the people individually, they did these all things. And finally, in the 80s, we were chosen as the host nation of Seoul Olympic 1988. So government had to do something. So they built and they spent money on art. Now the road is equal and paved, and with these two big wheels, it goes smooth. This is a nice little cute picture. I've spent like 10 hours making this. All right, so let's see what they really did. Government spent a lot of money building museums, building art centers, building opera house, ballet theater. They built everything quick. 1988, Seoul Art Center opened. 1993, Korean National University of Art, National's first conservatory opened. 1999, Prodigy Center founded. An art museum, then theater, everything was in one campus. So you can imagine the 10-year-old little girl pianist and 20-year-old college student and 40-year-old professor, they're all in one campus. Dancers, pianists, artists, they were all in one campus, actors too. And they could mingle up their work. It was a huge inspiration and advancement in their development. So these are the little kids. Look at them, how little they are. These kids are all under the age of 15, maybe 12, but they're all international competition winners. Now, age is getting younger and younger. Competition, age, younger. He's the first prize winner of Schoenfeld flute competition. She is the first prize winner of a Menuhin competition. She is the first prize winner of Young Tchaikovsky competition. She is the first prize winner of Young Tchaikovsky competition. And so many more, I couldn't really count. I lost my count. These are all under age 15 international competition winners. And there was a second thing government did, which was loosen up their regulation. YouTube, internet, all the media. 1990s, we could see the satellite TV. So we could see MTV, NHK, broadcasting concert scenes. Internet was introduced. In 2000, YouTube was introduced. 2010, smartphones. You know what you do with your smartphone. You remember how much you changed, how much your life has changed since the smartphone, right? Don't you agree? Smartphone is your lover. You're with them 24/7, right? And with that smartphone, what would you do if you're a musician? You watch YouTube all the time. In Korea, we watch YouTube on about everything. We don't even Google it. We just find it in YouTube. Yes, I know. Somebody's laughing. Yeah, but that's truth about Korea. We are just crazy about YouTube. So, well, there's some shadow, but there's the bright side of YouTube that musicians could learn their music without going anywhere. Without going America, without going to Europe, they could learn the music lesson. So these are the materials These are the materials I could watch on TV and on my cell phone. NHK, MTV, music videos. And then after watching them, Koreans were quick, right? They're really quick at copying them, learning and copying and reproduce them. So we reproduced our own music videos. Are you familiar with K-pop music videos? K-pop singers, right? Do you know? No? You must know some, right? Yeah, and Korea is very famous about making fun or cool music videos. We all learned from this satellite TV, MTV. So now, this is present time, explosion of development. The reason I put that fire sticker there has some reason. Okay, fire, something is on fire. It's good, it's hot. Yeah? It draws attention. It's hot, it's good. But what would you do if something is on fire? Fire. Call 911 and put off the fire. It's dangerous. So even though it's on fire, it's really huge, big, it's spreading, but maybe it's not very good. Competition. Everything now in Korea is about competition. Yeah, these people are phenomenal. They're so great. Winner of Paganini, winner of Chopin competition, winner of Gina Bachauer, winner of Liszt, winner of Tchaikovsky. They're all Korean. And this is a number. 70s, we had only 2 prize winners. 80s, we only had 3 first prize winners. 90s, we had 13. That's okay, it's getting bigger. But then, on 2000, it became 50 first prize winners. And 2010, it became 80. We are not talking about just mediocre small competitions. We're only talking about Tchaikovsky, Queen Elizabeth, Van Cliburn, Chopin, Paganini, all those big competitions, and 80 first prizes. It's okay, I'm proud of it, okay. But why so many? Why so many competition? Why do Koreans always go for a competition? Why? Bartok once said, competition is for horses, not for artists. Maybe we are all becoming horses. And if you win something, big prize in international music competition, in classical music genre, what is the equivalent word for pop culture? It is Billboard. Do you know Billboard? Billboard chart? Yeah, and last year, our one idol group topped the rank Billboard chart first ever in history, and they are BTS. Do you know BTS? Wow. This is not the reaction that I was expecting. I thought you will all know. No? Wow. Proud teachers, I think they're really only studying. You're such a good student. Only studying, not interested in K-pop? No? Yes? Okay, so let's watch their performance. This is their awards ceremony in American music Billboard chart. And yeah, it's about to get bored. So let's enjoy BTS stage.
I'm a little bit nervous to announce this next performance. To call these guys international superstars honestly feels like an understatement. Making their US TV debut, make some noise for BTS!
So this is Korea's most famous idol group, BTS. That was a short introduction. But with this competition winners and pop singers, and there are tiger moms in Korea, now what do? They want to train their kids to become like them. These are short videos of tiger moms' children. Oh, sorry. She began violin at the age of 2. And this is about classical music, but also about pop music. They began their education very early. 9-year-old.
진짜 말도 안 된다.
그렇게 말하지는 마세요. 사람들만이 생각할 수 있다. 그렇게 말하지는 마세요. 나무와 바위 작은 새들조차 세상을 느낄 수가 있어요. 자기와 다른 모습 가졌다고.
Ten-year-old.
없어 고개 끄덕이지 않고 밤이면 밤마다 오는 날이 아니냐서 오늘을 놓쳐서 후회한다면 후회한 시간에 후회할 거잖아 후회하기 싫어 후회할 일들을 후회하기 전에 후회만
They're too young to do that. And in Korea, we are doing it. So many kids want to become idol star, and there's some annual audition in management. And these many students are taking the chance. It is good to learn something at very early age, and it is good to be successful. It is good. But those kids, they don't go to school in Korea because they need 10 more hours to practice. They can't go to school. This is the number of homeschooling number under age 18 in Korea. Homeschooling, homeschool. You don't go to school. You get schooled at home. Basically, you don't go to school. And it's getting higher and maybe a little smaller, but the entire number of students are getting less, getting smaller, so that's why it's only going up. And this is really shameful chart for Korea. Korea was ranked as top nation among OECD countries for the rate of teenager suicide. The gray line going low is the death by accident. So it's getting low, good. But the red line is going up. They kill themselves because the competition is too high and too stressful. Now I want to talk about the future because Korea maybe set up some good example of how to train your kids, how to make your kids successful in life, how to make competition winners. Maybe Korea set up a nice goal. So people are asking, why Koreans so good at music? What do you do? Maybe we have some reasons, as we just saw in my lecture, but I want to talk about future. I want to share with you the words from Yo-Yo Ma.
A lot of time in our lives trying to get good ratings. The teachers are being rated, the students are being rated, the schools are being rated, the principals are being rated. But that's actually not what life is about. Life is about more than that. I think music was invented to serve a purpose, whether it's to take you to a specific state of mind or to create a sense of communal well-being. I think music, in some ways, is the science of the soul, is the science of the inner life. So the teaching of music is not sort of saying, this is what it is and that's it, but it's more you activate all your senses to activate your imagination with the result of having mental acuity, creativity, and a form of expression that is very precise. There's no greater magic than seeing young people getting turned on by an idea and starting to grapple with things. And to feel that kind of energy, to see the light in their eyes, and to see someone becoming the opposite of apathetic, the opposite of being paralyzed, the opposite of feeling powerless to do anything, but to be actively engaged in living, participating. That's the most exciting thing.
So now we returned to our first theme and second theme. Do you remember? Han and Hoon. The cacao cookie stays the same, remember? Han, that emotion, that explosive emotion you have inside, and you want to take it out. You want to express it, to desire, to let go of the emotion. It has to stay the same, because that will make the drive to make music, make better music. It has to stay the same. But then look at the second thing, 흥. We're always doing something really fast and higher, better than anyone. Who's better? You? Me? I'm the better. No, you're better. We're always comparing with each other. That has to stop. And the 흥 must turn into some driving force of the collective, as in a group, as a nation, as Korea, as Asia, as human race. The 흥 has to become the drive for together. So Korean government is actually turning direction, their investment, their money, into project center, okay, but they're spending more money on sharing the music. First, equal chance for the underprivileged. So kids from poor family, they can learn music without money. Without money. It is completely free of tuition, and music in the notion of sharing and nurturing instead of advancing and competition winning. They're focused on more on creating. So they even have special education on chamber music class, collaboration, group project, but not just that, they learn dance. Musicians learn dance. Musicians learn acting, mime class. Musicians learn all different, more interdisciplinary classes, like what you're doing now. Scientists, but learning and listening and having your opinion about art. This is interdisciplinary class, and we're doing for poor children. This is the picture of the lesson and the chamber music class. They also teach Korean traditional music. They also study on mime acting class. Of course, concert opportunities. And for these little young children, they have this class like, let's make our own instrument. Remember, this is all not for the rich child, rich family. We're doing it for underprivileged families. Number 2, music in the community. For your community, at your community, by your community. You don't have to go to concert hall to hear a concert. You can just go to your local community center. You have community center in every city too, right? Community center. So neighbors get together and they play together. They form orchestra. They play at a concert. And so it's for your community, at your community, by your neighbors in your community. So these are the photos of the local orchestra, community orchestra. Not just children, we adults, we can learn instrument for free in any local community center, and they have concert together. Number 3, one school, one orchestra. This is phenomenal. This is called Nationwide El Sistema Project because we learned the idea from Brazil's El Sistema project. So in Korea, almost every public school has their own orchestra. So it focuses on teaching young children the sense of harmony, togetherness, and discipline, because you have to practice, and accomplishment. When you finish your concert together, what would you feel? So accomplished. You feel such proud and joy of making music together. That's happening in Korea. And it doesn't cover just the city, big city children. It actually spends more money on the remote island to the secluded villages in the mountain, far, far away mountains. Pictures of their rehearsal, of their concert. They didn't have a music shop in their area, but now government sent their instrument and teachers. This is a photo of Shinan 1004 Youth Orchestra concert. 1004. 1004. What is that? Shinan area has little itsy bitsy little island. 1004 islands. 1,004 little islands. And every island has public school. And for the annual concert, all these little kids from these ... islands, they get together and have a concert with orchestra. How amazing. I feel most proud of this part in this lecture. This little school has only 43 students. Entire number of students is 43. But they had an orchestra, and they just won, last year, they won first prize in the National Youth Orchestra competition. Again, competition. So, exactly 1 hour. Exactly 1 hour. Thank you for enduring this long lecture. And for the last 60 minutes, I was talking and sharing about how Koreans, for 50 plus years, how we learn and teach music in Korea. I want to quote Leonard Bernstein. He once said, "Art never could end a war. Art never can get anyone a job. Art never functions that way. But art can change people. It affects people so that they change themselves. It changes the way they behave, changes the way they live, and the way they think, and the way they love." And I want to summarize my 60-minute long lecture into one phrase. In South Korea, music may have started as an outlet of the suppressed emotion. But in the future, music will become the entrance door to the hearts of everyone. Thank you.
On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Clyburn, welcome. We've heard inspired performances from amazing artists, and it's been spectacular from start to finish. Thank you, competitors, for fantastic memories we will cherish.
And we wish them, all of them, a great success in their career. We like them so much.
And the winner of the 15th Van Cliburn International Piano Competition is Yekan Sunyu.
Yekwon Sunwoo. It sounds like you're still gathering yourself after the last few moments.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't even know what to say. I'm really thankful and grateful for this, such an honor. And overall, it was just because of the music, how wonderful it is, that just kept me going, and I'm just thankful for such wonderful audience members, and it was just great.
Thank you very much.